Dad, how many centimeters are there from the Earth to the Moon?
Whoa, that's a great question. Let's find out. To solve this problem, we're going to use something called dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis is a method of solving a problem using conversion factors to convert from one set of units to the next. You might ask, well, what's a conversion factor? Good question. A conversion factor involves the use of what we call equivalence statements. We could say that 1 dozen eggs equals 12 eggs. True, right? Both of those are equal quantities, just expressed in different units. So a conversion factor for this equivalence statement might read 1 dozen eggs for every 12 eggs, or it might read 12 eggs for every 1 dozen eggs. As you'll see in a minute, the arrangement depends on what units we need to cancel. I think it'll make more sense when we solve this problem. So let's do that. Okay, let's talk about some equivalence statements dealing with the distance from the Earth to the Moon. First of all, the distance in miles to the Moon is about 239,000 miles on average. So let's write that this way. 2.39 times 10 to the 5th miles equals distance to Moon. So that's one equivalence statement that we'll use for a conversion factor. Well, how about how many feet there are in 1 mile? 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. These are equivalence statements we can use again to make our conversion factors. Both are equal, just expressed in different units. How about another one? 12 inches equals 1 foot. You starting to get this? One more. 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. Aha. Now we're cooking. Okay? I think we've got all the equivalent statements we need to make our conversion factors. Now we just need to set up our dimensional analysis and arrange it in such a way that the units cancel to give us the units we want. So let's start with the number of miles we have for the distance to the Moon. Now, this is our distance in miles. But we don't want miles. We want miles to go away, and eventually we need to arrive at centimeters. So, which of these equivalence statements can we use to give us a conversion factor that will cancel out miles? This one, right. So, let's take that and arrange that conversion factor in such a way that miles will cancel. You see that? So I've taken the equivalence statement and given us a conversion factor, arranging it in such a way so that if I multiply these together, the units, miles, cancel out, leaving me now with feet per distance to Moon. You starting to understand now? We've used this one. We've used this one. Which of these two should we use next? Right, this one. So how do we need to arrange 12 inches equals 1 foot so that we can make this into a conversion factor and cancel feet? Okay, we'll put feet on the bottom. So that means 12 inches for every 1 foot. Now, a quick rule of thumb is, whatever unit you're trying to get rid of, that's the one you want to put on the bottom. The unit you want goes on top. The unit you're getting rid of goes on the bottom. And see, now feet cancel. We're getting a lot closer. We have inches per distance to moon. We have one remaining conversion factor, don't we, to make? 1 inch and 2.54 centimeters. So how are we going to arrange this final equivalent statement to give us the conversion factor we need? What goes on top and what goes on bottom? Right. 1 inch goes on bottom. 2.54 centimeters goes on top. And now look, when we do it this way, when we arrange it this fashion, inches cancel. And look what units we're left with. Centimeters per distance to moon. Now, do you see how arranging it in this way can help us to know that we're on the right track as far as solving this? Because if we come out with the right units, centimeters for the distance to the moon, then the odds are good that we'll be able to solve this properly. So let's do just that. Now, normally what we do in this case is we multiply all the tops together and then divide it by all the bottoms. So that's what I've done here. But as it turns out, all of our denominators had a value of 1. So essentially we're just multiplying all the tops together. So when we multiply this all together, we get a value of 3.8 times 10 to the 10th power centimeters for our distance to the moon. So there you go. That's how many centimeters there are from the Earth to the moon. And that is how we use dimensional analysis. This method in which we solve the problem by arranging the units in such a way so that we convert from one unit to another. We started in this case with miles to the distance to the moon. Our first conversion factor involved arranging it so that miles were on bottom so it would cancel, and the same goes with the subsequent conversion factors, canceling each time until we got the unit that we wanted. All right, guys, here's your homework. Let's say you have a bag of popcorn and it has a weight of 0.5 pounds. In other words, a half a pound of popcorn. How many kernels are in that bag using the following equivalent statements? 0.125 grams equals 1 kernel. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. 1 ounce equals 28.3 grams. That's all the time we have for today. Today we learned how to use dimensional analysis. It's a systematic approach to problem solving using conversion factors to convert from one set of units to another. And those conversion factors are based on equivalent statements, where we have two quantities are the same, just stated in different units. And those conversion factors are arranged in such a way so that we cancel one unit and we introduce another. I hope it's been helpful to you. Again, let me know if you have any problems. Until next time, God bless.